I'm going to call the meeting to order. Due to the governor's statewide disaster declaration relating to the COVID-19 pandemic and current public health guidelines for social distancing, I've determined that it's not prudent for the members of the village board or staff to convene in person for tonight's meeting. Therefore, the members of the village board are attending the meeting by video conference. The same conditions require barring access to the public for in-person attendance. In light of those limitations, the public's invited to attend and listen to the meeting through the Zoom platform or by phone as indicated in the meeting agenda. To comply with the Opens Meeting Act requirements for virtual meetings, tonight's meeting is being recorded. And if I could ask Village Clerk Schmidtke to take roll call and ask if everyone can hear and be heard.
Trustee Borowski.
Yes,
Can you
loud
hear me?
and loud and clear.
Trustee Kritzmeyer, can you hear me?
Yes, but I was on mute.
Okay. Trustee Michaud.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Trustee O'Connor.
I
Can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Trustee O'Reilly.
Yes.
All right, I can hear you. Trustee Tanucci.
Can see and hear everybody.
Great.
All right, thank you for that. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to
Pledge allegiance
the flag
to the flag
United
of the
States,
United States of America,
America,
to the
to the
republic,
republic,
to the republic
for which it stands,
for which it stands,
nation,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
with liberty and
justice
justice
for
for
all.
all.
All right, welcome everyone. I do not see anyone else here. Let's see, except for Amy Gayton, I see your phone number. So I'm going to ask, I'll just real quickly, homeowner associations, Estates of Oak Hills, Deb Gammon. I don't see you, and nor Oak Hills, Adrian Radosov or something, Radosov?
Yeah.
Now, the question I would ask is, Craig, are the invites going out? Because no one's showing up. So I guess that'd be the only thing I would confirm. I'm assuming they are, right?
They
Yeah,
are
sure.
going out.
Yeah, Sherry.
Okay, thanks,
Sherry's
Denise.
got 'em going out.
No one's showing up. What's going
I'm
on?
actually surprised Adrian isn't here, though he travels. He's an airline pilot, so you never know. He could be up in the air somewhere.
Okay, got it.
Don't
Well,
take it personally, Bill. It's not you. It's not us.
How do you know?
How do you know? There you go. All
I
right.
I expect the best.
Thanks, Bobby. All right, so then let's keep moving along. Before we entertain any public comment tonight, I want to note that we have received an email from Mr. Goldberg dated 9/21. It has been shared with the village board members. It is posted on the website as well. And then for the record, the village has also received public comment via email from Mr. Goldberg on 9/1/21, 8/24/21, 8/14/21, 6/22/21, 5/24/21, and 5/8/21. And all of these were shared with the village board and are also posted on the village website. Now I'd like to open it up for public comment. Does anyone have any? All right, I take that silence as there's no public comment. So the next item on the agenda is an item that we began to discuss at the last board meeting, which was a garage setback variation replacing an existing detached garage at 7033 North Willow Springs Road. It's in the
Looking for a
same.
motion?
I am looking, well, so that's the discussion part is here. The next item is the motion. So is there any discussion? Does anyone want to discuss it?
Nope, we discussed last time.
Okay, then.
We
then
covered
can
this
we
last
move to-
time.
Then I'm ready for a motion. We're going to move to the next one. Consideration of an ordinance approving a garage setback variation, replacing a detached garage for 7033 North Willow Springs Road.
So moved.
So moved.
I think it was, okay, moved by trustee Tanucci, seconded by trustee Kritzmeyer. And that's a roll call, please. Village Clerk Schmidtke.
Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee Borowski.
Aye.
Trustee Michaud.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor.
Hi.
And Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. The next item we also discussed at the last meeting. And it's a resolution for approving the South Kruger Road Estate Lane resurfacing project with Arrow Road construction of Elk Grove Village for the amount of $60,972.43. Any discussion, or I'm looking for a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee O'Connor,
Second,
seconded by trustee Michaud. Michelle, roll call, please.
Trustee O'Connor,
Aye.
trustee Michaud,
aye.
trustee Borowski,
Yes.
trustee Kritzmeyer,
Aye.
trustee O'Reilly,
Yes.
and trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Item number 7 is going to be deferred. There's a few things that they're still working out with the agreement. So if no objections, I would like to move on to the next item. Are there any concerns? The next item is consideration of a resolution approving the temporary construction and permanent easement agreement between the Village of Long Grove and Spartan LP Newman's Cigars and More, 445 Robert Parker Coffin Road of Long Grove. I didn't know if Greg wanted to make any comments regarding the agreement.
Thank you, President Jacob, member of the village board. I would ask the board to make a motion to approve this tonight, knowing that there is going to probably be some minor text changes which will not affect, the overall securing of the easement. If it's anything outrageous, we would bring it back to the board and certainly not sign the easement agreement. But the owners of that business had taken the easement agreement to 2 different attorneys, and the attorneys were not proficient in zoning law, so they finally got it to a 3rd attorney. He wants just some minor text changes. I don't think it's consequential to anything we want to move forward with here.
Fine with
Hey.
me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Rita.
It's fine with me. Makes sense.
Any discussion?
I have a question regarding, not specifically on the agreement, but what's happened with the asks that they asked for?
We've approved them all. They asked for a 50-50 split on the,
They asked or we required?
no, we, Jeff, jump in if you want. We agreed to a 50-50 on the.
Did we
split.
ask for it or did they ask for it?
We did.
Said you asked for it. So we're giving the Forsyths, but we're taking from these people that are generously giving us an easement. I think that's wrong. I think I told you at the time, I thought it was wrong. I think it's a double standard.
And your comments were noted, trustee. I just didn't get full approval from the board.
Well, I thought I had, we had decision making. I just am incensed that it's not here to discuss publicly with other people. I don't know what Rita's opinion is. I don't know Ann's opinion. I don't know Kent's opinion. I don't know Chris's opinion. I don't know anybody else's opinion except my own. And so I don't like doing business that way.
Well, let's go clear this up right now. Let's go around the horn.
Mr. President, just let me offer, if we wanted to go 100%, it would be an additional 3508 to the 5241. Just so the board has a number in front of them.
Okay.
Wait, so for $3,500, how much are we paying for asphalting the land that we don't own in Stemple? How much are we paying? What percentage of that gross bill is for private land? Private
I can't
owned.
break that out, Jeff.
I
don't know if
can't break that out right now. I'd have
It's
to go
more
back.
than $3,500, I'll bet.
Yeah, it's about 1/3 of the cost, right? Roughly. I don't have the exact number to your point. So,
So about 1/3 of the parking lot is being paid for by government for a private party. And for $3,500, these nice people asked us, we asked them to do us a favor and we're gonna make them pay $3,500 for a couple of little perks.
Well, let's go around the horn and ask everyone. On my screen, sitting next to you, you don't know this, is trustee Tanucci, so I'll ask him what his opinion is.
So what I was going to ask is, I think I understand what you're talking about, but could we have a short summary of the question on the table?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your
So,
thinking, Bobby? Bobby, what's your thinking in terms
Fairness.
of?
Fairness.
Got it. Okay. Gotcha. Fairness. And can Jeff or Greg or Denise please describe, as I recall, some of this isn't the same parking lot, it was additional work.
That is,
But maybe I've got that wrong.
It doesn't really even have to.
I was
do with the
asking
parking lot.
Jeff and Greg. Bobby, I asked Jeff and Greg, please.
what,
Okay, got it.
what this was an additional expansion for grass area that they have that they would like paved. When we had our initial discussions with these owners, we had, the owner even agreed to it, and we discussed having a 50-50 split on doing the work. That's what I felt comfortable with. That's what I felt bringing back to the board for this purpose of this easement. At a subsequent meeting, trustee O'Reilly brought up the fact that she thought it would be appropriate if we picked up the whole cost. The board didn't take any action on that, so I just proceeded with the 50%. Whatever the board wants
We
to do.
discuss. Never mind.
well, again, can we go around, just get an
It was
opinion from everyone?
discussed at the board meeting, just nobody gave me any direction.
Yep, but let's just go get an opinion of it, right? So I think, what I could do here really quick too, if it helps, is, does it matter if I share my screen? Does it help with the
Bill,
diagram?
I had a image queued up too, if you want me to share mine.
Well, I got it right out of the
Okay,
board packet, right? So if I just do the share screen, this might help us, right? Is this right? So the part that we're adding, am I right, Jeff? Is this part in gray, right?
I can't see the
Oh,
image
I'm
yet.
sorry, I gotta hit the share button. Duh. How's that?
Very good.
So which
Yeah.
part are we adding? Right here, this gray
Yes.
area? Yeah, all this is new being added.
Okay, so just to kind of walk through that image just a little bit. So Cigars and More has an existing parking spot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots. And they initially asked for those to be resurfaced as part of the project. And that had been included in the costs that were previously prepared and approved by the board. Cigars and More, they've got a 5-foot wide strip on the east side of the parking lot that's currently rocks. And they asked for that also to be paved. And that cost was, Greg, I know you got the number right in front of you, but it was like $1,300.
1733. for the
$1,733,
parking
correct.
expansion fee.
Yep. And then as the conversation progressed, the Cigars and More, they asked, hey, can our parking lot be expanded and can the village add 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 parking spots to the south? That's for a total of 11 parking spaces, 1 ADA spot, ADA handicap accessible parking spot. And that parking lot addition came up to just a little over $7,000, and that's shown in gray there. And that is what Manager Jackson was referring to when he says a 50-50 split, because the conversation with Cigars and More was, hey, can you pave this? And we came up with 7,000. Manager Jackson and myself, it came about the request of, would you guys be open to splitting that cost? That's how that came about. So just wanted to provide just a little bit of context there and walk through that diagram.
A question. These parking spaces are or are not for the exclusive use of Cigars and More?
Yes, they are.
Exclusive.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if I can we go around the horn and just now that we've explained it.
Okay,
What's your opinion? Should we fund this 100% in light of, their good teaming
So-
with us on this whole thing, getting this easement done?
May I speak?
Oh, you may.
Greg, the parking spaces that will be on the private party ownership, will they be public parking spaces or will they be private parking spaces?
We're speaking about these expanded spaces right here, trustee.
No, I'm talking about the Forsyth properties.
Those will be public.
And are they okay with that or have we not asked?
I have not had conversation with the Forsyths. The project was in motion before I came on board, but to the best of my knowledge, there has not been conversation other than I understand that the Forsyths are accepting of us moving forward with the project.
Well, let me answer it this way too, because in some of the discussions I had, with Marcia and Forsyth, I'm sorry, not the Forsyths. There was a discussion about if we weren't paving the lot, that they may try to chain it off and not allow everyone to use it. It's understood that this is going to be a public lot. I know that they do have some stalls that they've marked for the redefined hair bar or hair salon place, right? So I didn't ask about those slots, but all the rest of the parking, it's going to be as is, right? It's public parking.
Okay, these very gracious people, will they tie those off during festivals or high traffic areas so that no one uses them? Because I can tell you from being a resident business in downtown, you can have all the public or private parking you want, and people are going to park where they're going to park. So
Yeah, there's to your point, trustee, or to your question, there's no indication that they are going to.
of course they're not. It was a
segregate
rhetorical
that
question. So I just think, we get nice, gracious people that do us a favor and we stick it to them. And yet the tough people that we're afraid of, we do nothing. So I'm done.
All right, let's go around the horn. Kent, you're still to the right on my screen.
okay. So based on what I've just heard and the facts that were presented, I believe it's reasonable to go 50-50. I understand Bobby's point and, but I do think it's reasonable to go 50-50 based on what I heard tonight.
Okay. Jenny, you're next to Kent. Thank you for that.
I believe because it's not public, it is private, that I would say I'm comfortable doing 50-50.
Thank you for that. Rita?
Well, my take on it is the other parcel is a parcel in question, and our actions here are perhaps evidentiary. And as long as this, we are helping the owners of that building, no matter who they are now or in the future, I'm good with the 50-50. I see an apple and an orange here. I don't see it as fair or unfair. And I think it's helping the owners of that building. So I'm okay with it.
All right, thank you for that. Trustee Kritzmeyer?
Can I be last?
Okay. Trustee Borowski?
No, Chris doesn't have a lot to say on this one because frankly, I have no idea. I really don't. Just one question. So the Jeff, you said the new spaces are for the reserved use of the Cigars and More, or what? I mean, what are we saying with those spaces? Can anybody use them, or is it just strictly for that business?
I'm sorry. If
Oh,
I
that
can-
was, Greg, please.
Yeah, it's their property. I mean, it's definitely their property. It's their spaces, but again, there's no indication that they would rope off those spaces. But Jeff, do you see something different there with the plat?
No, like you said, Greg, they're on private property. I would like to say they're different because they're not contiguous to the main lot, but they are in close proximity to it.
Okay, and why do we want to give them anything if it's private property? Why do we want to even split it? I guess I'm not following that.
They're giving us an easement.
All right, reasonable,
The-
understood. Yeah, that's fine. Let's split it.
All right, Andy, you want to comment? I mean, I'm, by the way, I'll support doing 100%. So if that's what the board wants to do, I support that too. So.
I'm good with proceeding what we've got in place here. I understand the fairness issue. I also believe that, yes, we're helping them. This was not something that was originally in scope. We've added it. They have given us an easement. I hope it doesn't create any ill will. The main part of the parking lot has been used as public parking for years and years and years. This is slightly different. So I'm good with a split.
Okay.
I wouldn't be totally opposed to 100%, but I'm really good with the split. And this is where we are. I think we should proceed.
Another comment that may be helpful. We had several homeowners along Robert Parker Coffin grant us easements for the new pathway for gratis.
Yeah.
I think we are helping out one of the businesses in exchange, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Sometimes it goes one way, sometimes the other. So.
Trustee O'Reilly, do you have anything else you want to add to this or?
No, just to put it in perspective, the analogy I made with Forsyth's was a ridiculous comparison. I just thought I might hook somebody with the sense of fairness that we take from the little people and we give to the big people. And I think it's wrong but case done. I'm done. I think that the value of the easement with what it is in reality going to provide for us has a better value, but we'll, this is fine. This is fine. I think it's unfortunate.
All right, with that, does anyone want to make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement? No, I'm sorry, the agreement with the permanent easement between the Village of Long Grove and the Spartan LP Newman Cigars and More?
So
With the 50-50 split.
With the 50-50 split, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, moved by Trustee O'Connor. Did I hear that?
yeah, yes. Yes,
Yep, okay, and then seconded by
Second,
Trustee Tanucci and Village Clerk Schmidtke. We need a roll call, please.
Trustee O'Connor,
aye.
trustee Tanucci,
aye.
trustee Borowski,
Yes.
trustee Kritzmeyer,
Aye.
trustee Michaud,
Aye.
and trustee O'Reilly.
No,
All right, motion carried. Thank you. Now the next one is the discussion and consideration of a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Long Grove and the Long Grove Park District for the sale of the district's 21-foot access strip to the Stemple Municipal Parking Lot for $5,000. I will add that Jim Southwell sent me a note today saying that if we approve this tonight, he will convene a special meeting on Friday with the Park District Board to get this approved on his side. And Jim Southwell is the new Park District president. So I don't know if there's any questions or comments, but I'll open it up for that.
well, if I may speak.
Yes, you may.
Isn't it ironic? We're here now going to pay $5,000 to another non-taxing body, another government agent for property that we need to complete the road that we just screwed Cigars and More with. So it's very ironic that we're now going to give $5,000 to another party. And it makes me very regretful that I worked as hard as I did to get a donation of $12,000 to the Park District within the last year. I very much regret having done that.
So can I say something?
Just
Yes, you may. So go ahead, Kent, go ahead.
So speaking in this case as the former president of the Park District, I just want to let you know that all of us, myself included, who were on the board at that time, definitely appreciated that donation. And well, I can't speak for others. I can speak for myself that I still do appreciate it, even though I'm not there anymore. So, you know, I do understand your feelings. I was very concerned about the direction this went. Still am concerned. I think things ultimately are going to work out fine because with us owning the property, it's, you know, probably better in the long run that we own it. But, you know, I was distressed at the direction it took at the beginning. But, you know, the donation that was made was put to good use on the gazebo that looks way better than it did before. And, you know, it is appreciated. Speaking as, you know, the former president of the Park District.
Any other discussion? Ann, you were going to make a comment?
I would just, you know, with all due respect, Bobby, I don't know that we screwed Cigars and More. We're paying, we're.
Excuse me, I am allowed my point of view.
You are, and I'm allowed a point of view also, which is that I'm very grateful that they've worked with us on the easement there, and we are paving their existing spots and adding for safety there, and paving half of their new spots for them. So I do think that there is definitely not. I don't see it the same way. I see your point, but I don't see that we screwed them. I think we've actually given them some things too, and that's reasonable. And I share Kent's regret that this is the way we ended up, but I also agree that I think it's much better for us to own this.
And then if you're done, Ann, I just wanted to point out a couple of things here.
Go ahead, Kent. Yep.
So the part of the property that we're potentially buying, if this is approved, is currently served by a license with the business association. So it's good to see that we are going to disconnect or we're going to, you know, remove ourselves from that license for that part of the property. And it looks to me like that's going to happen before the sale is closed. Do I understand that correctly?
Vic, you want to comment? You're muted though, by the way.
Yes, the objective is to formally conclude or terminate the license as it affects this 21-foot strip prior to
Right.
closing.
So that 21-foot strip will no longer be covered by the license, but the remaining Park District property will be unaffected, unchanged. Okay, so it's good. We're going to do that before we close on the sale. But then a different license is we're taking out a license so that we can work on the property before the closing of the sale. Do I also understand that?
No, not that, right? It's not a license, right? We just have an intergovernmental agreement, right, Vic?
Well, the intergovernmental agreement includes a provision that gives us that license.
Okay.
It's just the right to go on it. It's all part and parcel of what you're about to consider.
Yeah, yeah, the word license is used, but it's a temporary license,
Correct.
which goes
And
away
that will
when the sale is
terminate
concluded.
when we acquire the property.
Okay. So those are two important points I wanted to make, and I like both of those provisions. I think they make a lot of sense.
Thanks, Kent.
May I?
Please, Rita. Yep.
I feel compelled to bring this up, hoping somebody here may know. Bernadine Matlock asked me several times over the last 4 or 5 years to please be certain that the granite step that she personally had installed on the creek bank be preserved and not torn up, ripped up, whatever. And I have looked for it. I can't find it.
So Rita, let me do this because I asked Ryan Messner about that, and he's
Yes.
been in charge of that project. How
Yes.
about I loop you into a communication on
That's
that?
fine. That's fine.
Because he says he knows where it is. He wants to move it by the little footbridge or whatever they're putting in there, which is further into the
Yeah.
beyond where they're building their park. There's the part where the trail starts. He wants to move it over there. So he says he knows where it is, but I think that Ryan would be the best person to connect
Okay.
with on that.
Just so Bernadine's made aware, she's made a lot of contributions to the, you know, and I said, I promise. So I'm finished, just that request. And
No, but let me broker that
Okay.
conversation and make
Okay.
sure we go look
That's
at
fine.
it, find out where it's at, because I did ask, it was when Ryan, me and Mr. Southwell went out there and we just toured that whole area together.
Okay,
And
I
we
wa-
talked about it too. So,
I
yeah.
wasn't able to see it, Bill, ever.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I don't know what it looks like either. So I thought, let's go figure it out, right? You know,
dead in a million mosquitoes, you know, so yes, let's move on. So moved, motion made.
No,
well,
not
let me make
made.
sure Chris had raised his hand.
Yeah, Chris did raise his hand. First of all, just wanted to say that I was a little bit taken aback or possibly offended by Trustee O'Reilly's comment about the accusation of me screwing somebody in a public meeting. So I just want to go on record to say that I rebut that comment. I also just want to recap, some of the history between the park board and the village. I think it's important to note. Several projects throughout the history of the village have gone towards donating significant land to the park board. In particular, I was personally involved in the Lemon Hill properties and the ball fields that were transferred ownership to the park district as part of the development. And furthermore, we even compelled the developer to spend significant resources on the grading of that property on behalf of the park board as part of the permitting process for that subdivision. I find it a little bit disappointing, is maybe not strong enough of a word for my feeling, that the park board would ask us to pay $5,000 for this parcel. Having said that, the spigot of Long Grove is not a finite source. The spigot runs dry eventually. So I'll look forward to finding ways to recoup that $5,000 and make sure that we spend our money wisely going forward in the future. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you, Trustee Borowski. Any other comments? If not, Rita, is your motion still good?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Trustee O'Connor. Anyone want to second it?
Second.
Seconded
It's
by,
disappointing. It's like a nose holding exercise.
I mean, are we at the point where we have no choice? Have we had that conversation with the park board and said, this is it or else? Or, I mean, are they holding our feet to the fire?
well, I think at this point, we're sort of where we are. They do want to put the money to good use. So I think you'll see it put right back into their property. So, they don't tax. So, and we get ownership of the access drive, which is really clean. And we've worked through all of the issues. And I think we've got something really clean in front of us that we can execute and then get this thing done and get the parking lot paved.
If it's of any help, in the course of conversation, we had discussed at length how an easement approach might work, and the convoluted nature that was bearing would have been a lot more trouble going forward than having this outright ownership. I think that the park district has its point of view as to what its responsibilities is and what it's looking to do, and I think that the village has slightly different ones. There's general alignment, but not exact, and I think that's why we're seeing that kind of divergence. But I think having title gets rid of some of the entanglements that might have otherwise resulted if we did an easement. And from that perspective, it's an expensive aspirin, but sometimes an aspirin is a good thing to have available.
We have
And we now have an updated plat of survey that we all know is current.
So we have a motion by Trustee O'Connor, seconded by Trustee Kritzmeyer. I would ask the village clerk to take a roll call vote. Michelle?
Trustee O'Connor,
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer,
Aye.
Trustee Borowski,
Aye.
Trustee Michaud,
Aye.
Trustee O'Reilly,
Aye.
and Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. Moving along, I believe now we're into the village and president and trustee reports. I do not have a report tonight, so I would just open it up to the trustees to see what reports you might have. Maybe we'll start with trustee Micho.
So I'm not sure, missed the last meeting, so I'm not sure what was brought up to speed on the last EDC meeting, but I'm just gonna, 2 points. One, we're meeting with Stevenson tomorrow to begin that collaboration again. And then the other thing is this, just, I guess Rita and Ann attended an IML seminar, which brought to the top maybe a desire need to update all of the available properties on our website. And I think that's potentially a great project for the EDC. And I know that the EDC is going to be a topic for discussion at the October meeting with the board, and I look forward to kind of defining that relationship. So, end of report.
Thank you. Does Ann or Rita want to comment? Because I think you both went to that same workshop, right?
We did. We got great info on a lot of topics for us. I think we're gonna, and tell me what you're prepared for, but I thought we were gonna bring this to the workshop, perhaps. I'm not sure.
So the IML had a number of different sessions. The one we're referring to was the title was 5 Steps to Revitalizing Downtown. I would say that content would lend itself not just to our downtown, but overall our village. I did put some notes together. You know, I'm more of a morning person. Rita's more of an evening person. So at like 1 in, she sent me an email and said, yep, they match. So I can share those notes. There were other sessions, would do some notes on some of those, but I thought that one on the revitalization was particularly helpful. And that was the thing that Jenny was referring to, is the first thing they said is like, just, you know, collect the data, know what you've got, which is the inventory of exactly, not just what, but the specifications. How big's the building? How big's the lot? Other amenities and things like that.
How many square feet? How much are they asking? Blah, blah, blah. Lots of really, really good info on several hot button items for us. We'll share them with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send that out.
If you want to hear them.
No, well, definitely. No, we appreciate it. Jenny gave a 2 thumbs up. So Rita, anything else you want to share?
Sure, I'll do my report.
Correct. Yep.
Stemple starts Monday.
All right.
Enough said.
All right. Is that the end of your report?
End of report.
Okay, thank you.
Wait a minute, so does the pathway, right?
Yeah.
The pathway to sunset?
Starts this week, actually. Pathway starts this week.
All this pavement we're putting down, shame on us.
All right. Following along, Ann, you were speaking, so I don't know if you have anything else to say, or you do have, you may want to add comment on the treasurer's report, which is another agenda item. So, but do you have anything else to add, or?
The only thing, I mean, I can put it with the treasurer's report, which, by the way, we don't have to approve it. I think that's just informational. I could say, let's see, I have treasurer's report. One of the sessions I went to was on use tax, which is, I will tell you, I didn't like the answers, but I understand it better. So if that's it. And the use tax is really kind of that, we collect internet delivery tax. The short answer is that Illinois has this really arcane regime of like retail and occupancy and use tax. It started in the 30s, clearly no internet there. Our basic regime is origin based, meaning wherever something ships from, that's where the sales tax is collected. At this time, more states in the United States are destination based. It's collected at the destination. So, and it gets even weirder when things go across lines, but this whole use tax, that Wayfair, we saw our revenues go up because now marketplaces like Amazon have to collect the state version, and that was in 2020. And now as of this year, they also have to collect the local version, except if they ship out of an Illinois warehouse, then it's back to the origin. So If you receive something in Long Grove and it's shipped from an Illinois warehouse, wherever that warehouse is, they're getting the local tax. We are not.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And I said, I didn't like the answers, but I understand it better. And it was quite clear on some of all that stuff. And there was no stomach really for rehaul. I mean, at some point they're going to have to overhaul. They're, well, the small furniture, the small town where all they have is a furniture store and they would lose all of their stuff when they ship things. I asked if anybody had ever analyzed it and the answer was like, no. So, anyway, so we had said when we set the budget, we were going to look at that closely. We broke it out in its own line item this year for the first time. I will say IML updated its revenue forecast in August. And we rely on that when we set the budget. I will say when the income taxes, their new budget, their new estimate is more than $15 per person higher, but the use tax is about $4 lower and some other kind of mix and match. But overall, it's like $10 per person higher than it was when we set this budget. So on 8,000 people, that's an $80,000 happiness. The other good news is that we had a 5% increase in population. We went almost 400 people with the new census. Since we're now at almost over $206 per capita, that's another $80,000 gift, happiness. So those things are, again, the backs and forths and the use tax are all over, but so that'll affect some of what we'll see coming forward on the treasurer's report also. And we can cover treasurer's report there. Two other items. One, HDL-GBA, we discussed it in an earlier meeting. They had asked if the audit required for that SSA could be limited to just the SSA monies. From the financial standpoint, we went ahead and said, yes, that's correct. I had sent the request for the program outcomes and metrics to both Jesse and Ryan. And last week, those are by our agreement expected by the end of October. I haven't heard anything, but I'll see if I can reach out on that or pair up with Bobby since I'm very much a downtown thing. You want me to go into treasurer's report or no?
Well, we can, we have the slot for it. So you want to wait until we get there?
No problem.
Let's go ahead. Thank you for that report.
One small exclamation point on that I was at the same session and so described so well. I was impressed with how very close the communications are between the IML people and the two attorneys who were representing the Department of Revenue at the meeting. And I forget who it was, but one of the comments was that IML monitors all of this stuff and their guesstimates that they publish are like, if not on the money, they're super, super close, for projection purposes. So I found that helpful because sometimes you read that stuff and it's like, well, yeah, what crystal ball are you using? But they're talking to the people making the decisions.
Thank you. Thanks for those updates. Kent, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I have a question. I'd like to ask about this Heron's Landing SSA document that was put in the packet today, if I might. So first of all, whoever wrote it, thank you. This is a very nice summary. Very well summarized, especially for someone like me who's just trying to learn all this stuff as a new board member. So thank you for that. I have a question though. It looks like Heron's Landing residents will have another opportunity to pay a lump sum and then no longer have to pay annual amounts. Is there, if enough people decide to do that, and then there are only a few people paying annually, will that mean that we can no longer refinance the bonds because it doesn't make sense? There are just too few people. Is that something that could happen?
I don't know the answer
It's
to that.
possible.
Yep.
It's possible. I asked, and I also asked, I said, well, okay, so we've got 59 people who are paying annually. What if 25% decide they want to now, prepay all of that? The financial advisor and underwriter didn't think that was going to be a big problem. Would affect the size of the bond, obviously, but would not eliminate our ability to refinance it. He did make a side comment, as you saw, and I wrote the memo, so thank you.
Oh, okay.
The meeting with the HOA folks, again, who knows? I wasn't there, and I don't know how many people attended, but his initial thought was maybe another 5. So his working assumption is a lot lower than 25 or 15 people. I don't know. It would definitely affect the size, and what that would do is probably not affect the ability to refinance, but affect the audience that would be willing to buy. Some of them might not want something that small.
Okay. So, and then just so I understand what this is all about, it sounds like it's essentially refinancing. You're paying off higher interest rate bonds and using that money to buy lower interest rate bonds.
Yep.
Okay.
It's refinancing. We talked about it at an earlier meeting. There isn't any official action, but if you're all good with proceeding here, there will be a formal communication we need to take action on to invite the Herons Landing people to prepay, or, tell us if they want to prepay. To me, in the spirit of, I think Bobby's always done a really great job of saying, let's communicate early and often. And in that same spirit, I would say, if we're all want to move forward on this, that we should find ways to communicate and say, hey, we are going to move forward this and confirm that, understanding that we don't have hard numbers at this point.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm going to apologize because I didn't read your memo, but I don't think it was there on Saturday when I went through the board packet.
It was, and I had sent it. We'd kind of exchanged some emails on, is it going to be a verbal update? And I wrote out my notes anyway, and Denise said, hey, this is good. Let's make sure everybody's got it. Again, no action is needed, so we're not voting on anything.
Yep. Well, I mean, my opinion is we support the residents, and if this helps them financially, we should do it, right? So,
Yeah.
It is
that simple.
It is. These bonds had they're originally 30 years, so they've got another 20 to run, saving $8,000 or so over 20 years, another $400 a year. That'll buy you some good food.
Absolutely. Or some good beer in the downtown. Yes. All right. Let's see. Kent, anything else?
No, that's it for now. Thank you.
Let's see. I'll ask Bobby or Trustee O'Reilly. Do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Trustee Borowski.
Dinner was good. The honey crop is in. I have nothing else to add.
All
Are
right.
you spelling?
No, but samples are available to trustees.
I'll swing by.
Just don't get stung. Okay. Thank you for that report. Moving along then, there's no other reports. Let's move along. Well, let me ask, Village Clerk Schmidtke, do you have anything for us to share?
I do not.
Thank you. Moving right along, the next item on the agenda is well, we don't have to approve it, but it's the August Treasurers Report. So, Ann, do you want to take us through that? I had a few questions, but I think they're, being addressed, right? So.
They're being addressed, and I know, honestly, I know that Greg and Denise went through and with even finer tooth comb. One of the things you'll notice is the reserves coverage dropped and we got both July and August at the same time, and they've dropped. And that's because we have this very conservative practice of, as soon as we take action on something, we put the entire amount of whatever our action is into committed. And so that means that is taken out of the reserves and committed. So if you recall, in the last month, we went forward with the Stemple bid. That also comes with approving the oversight that Gaywald Hamilton does for the Stemple parking lot. And then we also move forward on agreeing to the $15,000 for the screening at Buffalo Creek. So all of those basically said, okay, we now took $488,000 out of reserves right now. They will be covered with eventually, other kinds of revenues, but right now $488,000 went out of reserves, and so you see that. There's also an offsetting reduction in committed projects as we pay Gaywald Hamilton for some of their North Kruger Road, but overall, those were some of the big changes in there. I know I had a conversation late this afternoon with Denise. I don't know, Denise and Greg, what else you want to say on there, but I think overall, we've discussed a variety of budget amendments, some of them like not material and tweaking, and most of them not, let's say, really changing the net position, but the way that we may look at the pluses and minuses on the revenue may change, but the net position probably won't change a lot. With that, I'll give it to Greg and Denise to add.
Yeah, thank you, trustee Kritzmer. That's absolutely right. We're gonna come to the board with a variety of amendments to tweak is best description of the budget. So that way, when we're reporting the budget, you'll get a better idea of money coming in, money coming out, where it's going. The other thing is for the next fiscal year, Denise and I have already started discussing laying out the budget schedule now to a request that trustee Borowski made early in my tenure about the calendar. The calendar is still being prepared, where every time we come up with something, we're adding it to the calendar. We are definitely going to have a calendar for the board to be comfortable with as far as budget processes, treasurer's report, which, by the way, I am working to get out. It's mandated by the state for October for that treasurer's report to get out. So we'll have that out. But we are going to do some tweaks to the budget. The last thing I want to just point out is we are now current. We are current with our treasurer's reports. We are now current with our warrants. So this month we received current warrant, and now we have the July, August current treasurer's report. So starting next month, we will also be getting our warrant and our treasurer's report beginning of the month, end of the month respectively. So we're back caught up.
Well done. Thank you very much. Kudos to you all. The other thing I'll say, one of the things is I know it's been my goal, and it's very much shared when I have the discussions with Village Manager Jackson and Director of Operations Denise Rosenquist, is that we want to be able to do our very best to forecast revenues and expenses, not just in an amount, but in timing, so that eventually we have a much tighter view of our cash flow month by month. In my imagination down the road, only after we've got a very solid body of data might we consider reducing our overall reserves, but only if we've got a really good idea of where our cash situation is each month of the year. So
Yep.
That's perhaps beyond my tenure, but that's my thinking, and I know you all share it.
Denise, you have anything to add to that, or you're muted? So no. Okay.
Nope, I think everything was said. Thank you.
Anybody else have questions or comments regarding the treasurer's report? All right, if not, I'm going to move to the village engineer's report.
Okay, so as alluded to, Long Grove is going to be under construction for a couple different projects here coming up. So I'm going to highlight those tonight. As I mentioned to Manager Jackson, it's going to be a busy couple months to get these done, but for me, it's kind of exciting. It is the fruition of a lot of hard work by a lot of people involved, including the board members. So we talked about the repaving of South Kruger Road. The contractor is scheduled to start the repaving work a week from Monday, which is October 11th. There is a chance that they will do some underground preparatory work even as early as this week. So I'll make sure that notices are distributed, posted to the website, things of that nature. Rita mentioned that Stemple is going to start on Monday, October 4th, so 10/4. We had a pre-con public meeting yesterday morning, which was well attended, a lot of good input and a lot of good questions. Village Manager Jackson and myself, we spoke with the contractor today, and we're getting the final confirmations on when work is going to start and what it's going to look like next week. And there will be a weekly update that's shared with Manager Jackson that he can hopefully distribute to keep everybody informed on what's going on over there. The third project is the Robert Parker Coffin multi-use path, and that one is starting this week. So expect Chicagoland and their forces to begin clearing trees and brush later this week. So there was a neighborhood pre-construction meeting with that project last week that was not quite as well attended as the meeting on Monday for Stemple, but we had a nice meeting. Trustee O'Connor, trustee O'Reilly, manager Jackson, myself, and a couple of residents were there. Generally, the residents are looking forward to the project, and as Rita mentioned earlier, they've been great partners for the project with the village by granting easements. One thing I did want to circle back with, if we've got a couple minutes, a few meetings ago, trustee O'Reilly asked what the crossing experience would look like at Route 83 for the project. So as it sits today, there's a north-south crosswalk crossing across Robert Parker Coffin Road on the east side of Route 83, basically connecting Sunset Grove with the Executive House. The Pathway project is going to put 2 additional crosswalks in. One crossing Route 83 on what I would refer to as the north side of Robert Parker Coffin Road. And the other one is on the west side of 83, crossing Robert Parker Coffin Road. And Bill, if you want, I've got an image I can just share that pictures.
Well, is it the one that's in the board packet that is right here?
You're reading my mind.
Yeah, I figured a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely, always is.
Is that big enough to look at?
So that gives some context here. As I mentioned, the crossing on the east side of 83 is existing. The 2 red dotted lines are the new crossings. So right now, there are pedestrian signals on the east side of 83 for the crossing. The project will include installation of 3 new pedestrian crossings signals. So Bill, now if you can allow me to share this one's not in the board packet.
All right, let me do the let me click on you and let you share. Hold on a second. Make co-host. There you go. Go ahead. Should be good.
Okay. Share screen. All right, so this is what the new pedestrian signal heads are going to look like, just to give you an idea. These are going to be at the northeast and northwest corners of the intersection. It's going to be a 10-foot tall post.
Just say that again. At what corners?
The northeast, so the Sunset
Okay.
Corner, and then the northwest, which is the Three Lakes corner. So these are 10-foot tall posts. You've got a push button 3 feet off of the ground. The rectangle in the middle, that's going to be where the sign says push button to cross. And then you've got 8 to 10 feet in the air is the actual pedestrian countdown timer. So those are at the northeast, the northwest corners. At the southwest corner, this apparatus is actually going to be affixed to the existing traffic signal post. There's very strict requirements on how far this push button needs to be from the walkway. So the desire is to put this apparatus on and combine it with the traffic signal, but if it's too far away for ADA compliance, that's why you've got 2 new ones at the northeast and the northwest corners. So more importantly, I want to kind of walk through, pun intended, what the experience is going to be like. So if you come to the southwest corner of the intersection, that's the corner by the Grove Medical Center. You push this button, the traffic signal timing will stay the same, but what you're going to get is you're going to get the white walking avatar for 7 seconds when the light turns, and then you're going to get the blinking red hand and the countdown timer for an additional 17 seconds. So to cross Robert Parker Coffin Road, from the south side to the north side. You push the button, you'll have 34 seconds to cross that road. There's-
34 or 24?
You're right, Ann. I've been accused of not doing math in public. 17 plus 7 is 24.
Okay,
Is
so
that,
that gets you across, I'm sorry, Robert Parker Coffin. Go ahead.
Correct.
is that
Okay.
ample, is that ample time?
So the timing for those crossings is based on a formula that is applied across the state. And it's a function of how far the post is from the far side of the intersection. So I kind of asked myself that same question, 7 seconds, certainly not enough time for me to walk across the road. And that's why they've got the 17 seconds of the countdown. So, kind of
Quick question, Jeff. That formula, it's one size fits all. Do you ever think about like, this probably has a lot of strollers or whatever during festivals?
the way that the state enforces it, yeah, it's a one size fits all. And obviously, like I said, scalable for distance.
Are they adjustable? May I speak?
Please.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Is it adjustable?
I have had very little luck with IDOT in adjusting these. They like their formulas. And then, so, if it doesn't work, certainly we can make that request to them.
Well, no, I'm thinking of, may I speak?
Please, Bobby. Please.
I'm thinking of activities that will be in more traffic using that parking lot. And if there was a weekend activity, being able to adjust them for a weekend.
So the other part that plays into this, the Route 83 corridor is a very highly tuned, if IDOT would say it in those words, system of traffic lights all the way from Arlington Heights Road up to Gilmer. So they've timed and synced all of these lights together to, with the goal of most efficiently moving traffic from south to north and north to south.
Well, aren't
So
we more concerned about may I ask another question?
Of course, Bobby.
Aren't we more concerned about our pedestrians at this point than our traffic movement? Or am I being ridiculous? Again.
So, yeah, no, you're right. From the village's standpoint, the goal of the project is pedestrian crossing. The state, it's just the competing viewpoint that they are looking to, they're looking to safely cross the pedestrians, but I believe a bigger focus from them will be the moving of the traffic. So it's competing objectives. So every once in a while, it's Long Grove in this case, reminding the state of this is how this is functioning. We need to take another look at it. Should we need to do that? Moving down the road.
So I have a question. It's 24 seconds total. Does the traffic light for cars on Route 83 turn red after 24 seconds?
Well,
Seems like the green is longer than that.
Can I just ask a dumb question before you answer that? I mean, is it the same to just cross RPC versus crossing 83? Aren't they different?
Yeah,
different?
that's the bigger one.
Yeah. Okay. So crossing 83, that's going to be longer.
Yeah.
So
What is
crossing-
it? Because I think that's the question. I mean, 24 seconds to get across RPC may not be that bad, but 24 seconds to get across Route 83, you're going to get hit.
So Route 83, you've got 38 seconds. That's 8 seconds of the white avatar, the man walking, and then it's 30 seconds for a countdown timer.
Wow.
So is that the signal timing? No. The signal timing also includes 3 seconds of all red. It also includes the protected left turn arrows. So these will be timed so that when pedestrians are walking, they're not conflicting with those protected turns, either from Robert Parker Coffin onto 83 or 83 onto Robert Parker Coffin.
The timing sequence of the lights from Arlington Heights Road to Gilmer, they will remain the same unless someone touches this request to cross the street. Is that correct, or is there anything automatic?
So IDOT periodically reviews their traffic signal timings for efficiencies. I can tell you that, part of the system is 83 and 22, and that was last looked at in 2017.
No, let me
So-
rephrase my question. Will the lights as they exist today remain the same sequence after this is installed unless someone is crossing?
The traffic signal timing, the overall timing, the red, green for traffic is going to remain the same.
So it's
Um,
unaffected by somebody pressing the button.
Correct. The pressing the button is going to be synced in with, the green time for each thing. And, this is
I'm
going
not
to be.
understanding. I'm
This is
not
gonna be
understanding.
dissimilar. It's dissimilar from, say, for example, Robert Parker Coffin Road and Old McHenry downtown. That intersection is fully activated by vehicles approaching the intersection and pushing the buttons. So in downtown, when you push the button, you're not going to wait a long time for that white walking avatar. That's not going to be the same experience for Robert Parker Coffin in 83. You're going to push the button. That's going to tell the traffic signal that when it does go through its cycle to illuminate the white walking avatar. But pedestrians are going to have to wait for the traffic timing to play out at Robert Parker Coffin in 83.
So pushing the button only makes the white avatar go on when the
It
light
doesn't, yes,
is going to
it
change
doesn't make
anyway.
it turn on faster. Correct. That's another way to say it.
Will there be additional signage on the the northeast corner, encouraging people not to walk in the street to get into Sunset? In other words, you're directing them across 83, and then you want them to turn left to use the pavement, the path to go north. I think people's inclination will be to walk straight. What kind of signage or preparation will we do to discourage people from walking in the street?
I think it's a great question.
I was going to say the same thing. I would say it's not.
Can you stop sharing? Because I'll
Oh,
show the.
absolutely.
let me
Sorry,
share-
Bill.
Let me share my desktop really quick.
Absolutely.
I want to
Sorry
show you
about
what
that.
Bobby's talking about if I can. If I can, let's see if this helps. Sharing the screen. So what we're talking about here is when you, right here, you're gonna have this new crosswalk and you come over here. There's no way to come down here. There's a retaining wall for this parking lot. So there's no way to walk down here. So if you don't have signs, people are gonna be tempted to walk down the driveway into oncoming cars to get to the Sunset parking lot. So I think what Bobby's trying to say is, is there gonna be some signage here to say, go this way to get over, to the parking lot, right? I hope that made sense.
No, yeah, no, a little bit of kind of a wayfinding sign just to direct people. Not certainly a good point and valid. Just I'll be honest that it wasn't included in the scope of the pathway project.
Well, I think it would be be somewhat ironic to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a path to keep people out of the street and then put them in a different street.
But maybe the solution is a metal bar about 4 feet high, 5 or 6 feet wide, with poles, horizontal poles on it, and an arrow pointing to the left, pedestrian walkway, where but the gate, so to speak, prohibits them from moving further east. Then they'd have to turn northerly.
I think I think Bobby's point is a really good one. Is that something we can do? Is that something we need to work with the owners of Sunset Grove on? I don't know where our jurisdiction ends, but it makes sense.
Right, all the property east of Route 83 is privately owned in the Sunset Grove Center, other than the lot that the water treatment plant is on.
But I don't think they would turn us down. Do you?
I don't
but-
think
but
so
the-
either. I'm just,
But the land that would not accommodate any kind of walkway there anyway, there just isn't. And if you put it, I would foresee if you put anything that had any height to it at all, you'd be blocking their signage.
No, it would be just I can't say the word. It's a see-through, where there's just horizontal to block
Not
it,
if you're paying big bucks for a sign.
block your passage.
I don't know if we have to solve it here, but I think asking the problem to get solved is a valid question.
Well, not only that, I mean, the other thing is, if the theory is you're going to come into this lot, the other thing, Jeff, is do you need another access point or pathway, where my mouse is moving right now to get in there, right? I don't know. I think there's a height issue here. You can't just step right down, right?
Right.
So that's I think, Bobby raised a really great point. It's something that should be looked at, because otherwise what's going to happen is, what people are going to do. They're just going to walk right down here. And
They do now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would 100% guarantee if our bridge is any sign of it, we can put up 100 signs and they'll walk right by them and do what they want.
Yeah, but still having a path to get into the
Well-
parking lot, it makes sense, right?
I think you have a
Well, give away for-
responsibility to address it in some way. And I'm concerned that people would then cross on the other side and use that little pathway, which might be actually the safer method. Knowing human nature, the direct line. But that wouldn't accommodate much traffic at all. And of course, it's private too. But it's a dilemma.
So yeah, I agree. A good point, and something that we can look into a little bit more. I would suggest ruminating on it a little bit. We, meaning myself and my team first, and coming up with a plan that can be shared with the board.
Thank you.
Horizontal bars, that's what I was trying to think of.
Any other,
So the only
questions? Keep
other
going, yeah.
construction project, certainly not a village project, is the berm on Route 53. I heard from the contractor that their goal is to have all of the excess material removed by the end of the week. So after the last board meeting, they took action and they've removed quite a bit out there. So we'll be monitoring and checking in and on progress. And if they slip behind, certainly let everybody know.
Can I bring you back to the other topic, Jeff, real quickly?
Sure.
When you're talking about the crosswalk signal, and I don't know how many places have this, I just was curious, does this crosswalk have noise? Like the different noises for vision impaired?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Why
Is
not?
that,
Why don't we have?
is that up to us to specify, or how does?
I can check back to IDOT's standards on that. Let me get back to you on that, Ann.
Okay, you've seen it on festivals. You
Yep.
get, everybody.
Most cities have that, where you get the tweeting, whistling.
We're just growing up. This is our second pick.
Yeah, but it's worthwhile, to have it, obviously. And since we got a senior center not far away, if they don't see well and they're trying to cross the road, it might be helpful to them.
Well, he committed to looking into it.
Yeah, let me look into it and make sure. I'm not 100% sure what is included, and the other part is the process of asking for it.
Thank
And
you.
the local residents concerned to noise, right?
Yep, good point, Chris, too. Could be a concern there too with the neighbor on the corner, so never know.
Yeah.
So, yep. But anyways, finding out would be great, and then how loud it is and all those things would be helpful, so.
Yep, I'll get back that information. So with that, that's the highlights that I wanted to bring forward tonight. If there's any questions, certainly happy to respond to them.
Any more questions or comments for Jeff? If not, thank you, Jeff.
End of report.
Yep,
Yep.
thank you. We have approval of the board meeting minutes from the September 14th meeting.
I did want to mention
I-
really quick that earlier today I made changes based on a recommendation by trustee Kritzmeyer in regards to her report. I don't think anybody's been able to see it since it did just happen earlier today. So I don't know if you want me to just read the new.
Can you read that change? Yeah.
Sure. Trustee Kritzmeyer reported that she and village staff met with members of Sikich, the village auditor, to review and discuss the preliminary audited village financial statements for the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2021. The statements will be presented at a future village board meeting in October. That's it.
Any concerns with that? Any other comments regarding the minutes? If not, does anyone want to make a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Moved by trustee O'Connor,
Second,
seconded by trustee Kritzmeyer. Village Clerk Schmidtke, can you take a roll call vote?
Sure. Trustee O'Connor,
Aye.
trustee Kritzmeyer,
aye.
trustee Borowski,
Aye.
trustee Michaud,
Abstain.
trustee O'Reilly,
Aye.
and trustee Tanucci.
You're muted, Kent. Got to unmute.
Sorry about that. Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
motion approved. Then we have the executive session meeting minutes. If there's no changes that need to be made to them, I believe we can approve those without going into executive session.
Again, I did make a change according to a recommendation from village attorney Filippini.
Okay, that's probably something we can't discuss out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we need to go to executive session, or do we just kick it to the next meeting when we get the revised minutes?
I don't,
Do we have
the
any-
changes that I made were more in the nature of clarification, but the best thing might be just to kick this to the next meeting and have it specifically on the agenda with the revised minutes available.
Okay, if everyone's okay with that, let's do that. And then I don't think, there's no reason to go in executive session. So is there any other business?
I just wanted to.
Denise had put,
Go ahead,
Okay.
Ann.
no, I just said Denise had this memo on technology I'd like to hear about.
Sure, go ahead, Denise, please.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I wanted to make sure everybody knew that we had completed the Office 365 migration and make sure that everybody got on board with that. And then I had added a memo in the board packet just to kind of have an awareness of the both equipment and services procurement, kind of those guiding principles essentially. And I highlighted under each of the different either tech equipment or service, kind of the guiding principles that we're using within those, and then sort of the benefits, and just to highlight a few that have been very, I guess, fulfilling to see. Just some simple things that we ordered new monitors because it was coming at the end of life for some of the monitors. So we looked into, we surveyed and found that staff thought it would be beneficial to have dual monitors. And that has been hugely a positive impact on efficiency. And Margarita, our building commissioner, has said, she said it several days in a row, actually recently, like, I don't know how I lived without this. She's looking at different, she's in our BSNA software, and then she's also writing emails and looking at different, assorted like Excel, documents. So it's extremely helpful on keeping, it's less frustrating for one thing, and it's also just more efficient. I also wanted to point out just sort of the strategic assessment and the purchasing of looking at timing and sequence of purchasing things like Office 365. The reason that the timing for that was really good was because we identified the fact that we had software license that were coming to where we were going to have to renew, which are $425 a piece. And we also have laptops coming that would be $425 a piece to put the software on. And by purchasing Office 365, we were able to, person gets, for their PC and also for 5 other devices that you can put the Office 365 on. And so then we didn't have to purchase those. And we're getting that at a reduced cost over our previous platform. And we're getting just, a huge amount of like Teams and things we didn't have before, OneDrive, that create kind of a platform for more collaboration. Something really, an important thing is creating our board packets to be able to have a collaborative space for that, so that we are able to, as far as like the document understand, like version control, essentially, which one is this? Because we have a lot of changes that happen. So to have one space that everybody's working and that we know this is the latest version, things like that are going to really be helpful as far as, cost effectiveness, as far as time. And like I said, we've had it with just actual reduced dollars. So just wanted to point those things out. And if there's any questions, just let me know.
I will let you know, I did load the 365 on my phone, right? So I have it now, and I did, do that on Sunday. I made the time to do it. So it worked out really easily. No problems at all. So thank you.
Great. Excellent.
And I'll make a comment on the monitor. I'm sitting here with 2 monitors right now. So I do that all the time. So you can do 3 if you wanted as well. So.
Right.
Go
Well,
crazy.
and I wanted everybody to know too, I'm sure you know this, but I think it was on the document that I sent out, but you can now then sign into office.com and access any of your email or any of the other applications, things like that. So it's just, it creates such a nice flexibility.
Yep. Thank you. Hey, Chris raised his hand.
Yeah, I did. I didn't see anything in the memo talking about the future of issuing notebooks to the trustees. And I bring that up for 2 reasons. One, I personally don't even own a PC, which may sound crazy being in the tech world. And the work computer I use has now been locked down, so only 1 execution of Outlook can be run on it ever. And obviously that's not going to be Long Grove. So I don't have any way to access email at all right now. And the same holds true my phone. It's been locked down to the nth degree where I can't execute another execution of Outlook on it beside a work execution. So my question is, how about trustees down the road? We can get everybody a notebook, load them up with proper software so that everybody's on the same page. And secondarily, if we ever get subpoenaed, and the subpoena includes our our notebooks that we use, that would include your personal notebook that you're currently running this on. And is everybody willing to take that risk? So,
I have asked Denise to begin to look at pricing out devices that would be appropriate. Now, whether that's a Chromebook or Surface Pro, a laptop or a tablet to for exactly for that purpose. I've also made an inquiry of the village attorney as to our exposure from subpoena and FOIA and things of that nature. So I've shared that with Vic, and Vic just gave me a response recently on it. So I'm happy to share his comments with the board and distribute those out. But yeah, we're Trustee Borowski, we're in motion.
thank you. Appreciate looking into it.
That's a great report, Denise. Thank you for that info.
Yes, thank you. Good summary.
All
Yeah,
right,
appreciate understanding the benefits linked to all of them. Sorry.
no, you're good. Any other comments?
I've just got some quick ones and it'll be very quick. The employee manual is now 2/3 done. I've been working on it both at home and at the office when I get some free time in the office, which doesn't happen often. So I hope to have that within the next 30 to 45 days for distribution and review, so it can be adopted by the village board. Myself, Margarita, and Trustee Tanucci will be meeting later this week to go over permit processes and flows, as well as to discuss permitting costs. We are currently looking in the process of updating our forms and applications in the office. We've already done a first review, take information out, consolidate some of the forms. We are looking to update the space audit for the historic district, business district. It has not been updated since 2019. The ordinance requires 80% retail, 20% service at certain levels. And we're looking to update that. And then finally, on a property maintenance standpoint, again, in the historic business district, we have begun our surveys of the properties with photos and information pertaining to property maintenance issues. The first wave of information has just arrived to me from Mundaline. They are continuing with their efforts, and then we'll be proceeding with addressing those property maintenance issues within the historic business district. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Village Manager Jackson. Anything else?
I have a quick parenthetical for you that I learned at IML regarding FOIAs. It was an
Sure.
update. It was an update on FOIA cases, what the laws, what the courts have decided. There was a case against the Chicago School Board. The FOIA request amounted to 28,000 pieces of paper. And the court said that that was not burdensome. The school board had to comply.
Oh, wow.
Thought you might find that interesting.
Frightening.
There was total silence in the room when he discussed that case.
All right. Well, on that note, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee O'Connor,
Second,
second by Trustee Tanucci. Michelle, roll call, please.
Trustee O'Connor,
Aye.
trustee Tanucci,
aye.
trustee Borowski,
Aye.
trustee Kritzmeyer,
Aye.
trustee Michaud,
Aye.
and trustee O'Reilly.
Yes.
All right. Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Have a
Good
good night.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Be well.